This examination has nothing to do with any other amendments in the Citizenship Act. So that there may not be any misunderstanding, deliberate or otherwise, and any further consequences. This is a very, very limited issue being examined. Yes. Lord, second, Lord, so far as the ground realities which are pointed out by the petitioners are concerned, that this influx of immigrants from foreign countries, they eat away, to borrow their words, my lord, the resources which were otherwise available to them. There are less opportunities, less job opportunities. There is demographic change, etc. Lord, all their concerns are true. The submission is declaring Section 6A to be unconstitutional is not the solution. There is a problem, there is a serious problem, there is an ongoing problem, but 6A is confined to a particular period of time, and declaring it to be unconstitutional would not be the solution of this problem. Now, my lord, I would first, my lord, start with Section 6A. Your lordships have read and reread, but I would respectfully urge your lordships to, my lord, go through it the way, my lord, I am inviting your lordship's attention to from that dimension, because some of the very important phrases, Lord, possibly were missed. Lord, please see the title of the section. Special provisions as to citizenship of persons covered by the Assam Accord. Look, this is only for the purpose of one state, and I'll point out when I deal with Article 11 argument that there can be a special provision either dealing with particular set of circumstances, the situation prevailing, the peculiar situation in a particular state, etc., etc. So there is no gainsaying that you have applied only to one state. It is intended for one state. Now, please see the definitions, my lord, which are of very relevance when your lordship goes through how this section operated. Immediately before the commencement of the Citizenship Amendment Act, 1985. So, my lord, whenever your lordship sees the word Assam in 6A, it would be without those parts who were earlier in Assam like Mizoram, Meghalaya, etc., etc. So now we have a very limited geographical entity to deal with. Then second is detected to be a foreigner. My lord, there was some confusion on our side, my lord, that detected would mean ultimately declared by the tribunal. Lord, kindly see the definition. Detected to be a foreigner means detected to be a foreigner in accordance with the provisions of the Foreigners Act 1946 and the Foreigner Tribunal's Order 1964 by a tribunal constituted under the said order. So whenever your lordships, my lord, sees the definition of the expression detected to be a foreigner, it would mean a judicial adjudication after giving an opportunity that you are a foreigner. That is number 2. Number 3, and my lord, this is C and D, my lord, are more relevant. Definition is specified territory. Specified territory means the territories included in Bangladesh immediately before the commencement of the Citizenship Amendment Act 1985. So it doesn't talk of the entire Pakistan. What was Bangladesh as on 85. So again, we have a limited geographical unit, which is the subject matter of 6A. The definition in D again restricts the application of 6A to very few individuals who will be qualified to take benefit of 6A. Please see, my lord. A person shall be deemed to be Indian origin if he or either of his parents or any of his grandparents was born in undivided India. As your lordships, my lord, goes through further, your lordships would find that 6A applies only to people who can fulfill this condition. So for getting advantage or benefit under 6A, I'll have to show that either I was born in undivided India or my father or my grandfather. So your lordships have three categories. First, the category in which it applies, the Assam, a very limited geographical area. The category from which the persons are permitted, only Bangladesh, a very limited area. And the persons who would be getting the benefit under 6A have to fulfill these conditions, and therefore very less number of people. It may be in thousands.
Now, how did the government, undivided India means undivided India as defined in the Government of India Act of 1935.
That is defined under the
2B. But now under the Government of India Act, undivided India comprised Pakistan,
Yes.
Bangladesh also.
Bangladesh was not there.
Of course, it was East
part of Pakistan. Yes.
Today's Bangladesh.
Yes, it was. Yes. Today's Bangladesh was a part of undivided India. But undivided India, my lord, is defined in the Citizenship Act itself.
It's 2B. I think 2.
It's 2B.
2H.
No, I'm sorry, 2H. To mean undivided India as defined under the Government of India Act 1935. Person shall be deemed to have been detected to be a foreigner on the date on which a tribunal constituted under the Foreigners Tribunal's Order 1964 submits its opinion to the effect that he is a foreigner to the officer or authority concerned. So there would be a judicial adjudication by a quasi-judicial tribunal after giving an opportunity of hearing, meaning thereby due process will be followed, and the person will have to now, this is a case where I want to be declared a foreigner. 6A are not the cases where people would be arguing I am not a foreigner. People would be arguing I am a foreigner and therefore I fulfill these conditions and therefore entitled to be a citizen. That's the distinction. This is a separate class by itself. Because I get benefit of 6A only if I am declared to be a foreigner falling within the parameters of 6A.
Under the Foreigners Tribunal Order of 64, could an individual go to the tribunal and say that, well,
Yes.
now in view of this 85 amendment, declare me to be a foreigner?
Yes.
Or does a show cause notice have to be issued to him? And
both ways. Both ways. My lord, suppose somebody is, there is an apprehension that he is a foreigner. Then show cause notice would go that you are an illegal immigrant. He will go to the Foreigners Tribunal and say that I fulfill 6A condition and therefore I am a foreigner. But I am entitled to the protection under 6A. If he is not.
Before 1985, nobody would have gone to the Foreigners Tribunal and say, please declare me as a foreigner.
Correct.
Because the consequence would be deportation.
Correct.
So before the 85 Act, there was no question of any individual going.
Correct.
But after the 85 Act, it becomes not a cause for deportation, but it becomes a cause for protection, grant of citizenship.
Your lordships are right.
So is there a provision by which an individual can go to the tribunal and then say, okay, please declare me to be a foreigner? Or how does it work actually?
I'll show that. But there are provisions under the Foreigners Act. He can go. But that was the root cause of the agitation which started. Because nobody was going for being declared as a foreigner because the result would be deportation, and therefore the influx created genuine concerns with the ethnic people, and that started, and the government was faced with a situation whether to accept the entire demand of the people of Assam or to permit everyone to come. And I'll show the government somehow brought the issue down to a middle way. What they were saying was that whoever has entered after 51 should be deported. That was the demand of Assam Gan Parishad, Assam Students Union, etc. That was the demand when the government was negotiating. And therefore, this 66 deadline came into being. I'll show the history.
We would also like to know you may go about it in your own way. How are those dates taken? What is the logical basis for the dates?
There is
166 and
I'll just
23.
immediately answer that. Lord, I'll immediately answer that. The first date is, my lord, 66. Lord, 66 is taken to be the date because on that date, an electoral roll was prepared containing names of everyone, my lord, whether disputed or undisputed, natives or illegal immigrants, and the elections took place in 67.
Is there any third category other than this? One is of an Indian origin. One is other category is a foreigner. Could there be a third category?
My lord, in the context of this matter, there is none. Otherwise, my lord, there is a category of OCI, my lord, overseas
Citizen of India.
citizens of India, my lord. But we are not concerned with
That's right.
that.
In that case, supposing if a show cause notice is issued, to issue a show cause notice, you have authority. That's number one. It should be followed by a final order. There should be some element of adjudication, no, though not by a tribunal, by the government, the government machinery. Supposing he doesn't go, he doesn't choose to go for the tribunal. What is his status? What is to be done for that person?
No, my lord, then we will have
Neither
to.
after show cause notice or after the decision arrived at by the instrumentality of the state. If that person continues to be there,
Well,
or what do you do with it?
The deportation.
Then what did you do?
Detention and deportation. That's the statutory provision. Unless he proclaims protection under 6A,
No, he would acquire the status of foreigner.
illegal immigrant.
That is what I am asking you.
Yes, my lord.
Could there be a third category there?
No, my lord, he would be an illegal immigrant.
Then if he is a foreigner, then he will go on before the tribunal.
No, my lord. Illegal immigrant also can go in. My lord, this is how it works. My lord, I can be a foreigner, my lord, if I go to US. I am going with a valid visa.
Therefore, there is another category called illegal immigrant.
That's the only category.
Now, that illegal immigrant will be declared as a foreigner
Foreigner.
by the tribunal. Correct?
By the tribunal who deserves to be or who is required to be deported.
That's right. Thereafter, the scheme of the act will come.
Will
10 years and other things if he continues there.
yes.
Now, if supposing he says, yes, I am a foreigner, there is a need for a determination by the tribunal in that case.
If he
If
says,
you are also saying he's a foreigner, the tribunal will now, after adjudication, holds him as a foreigner, then he will get the benefit.
no, there are other conditions. For 6A, there are conditions. If, my lord, suppose I am coming from Bangladesh and I admit that I am a foreigner.
See, the reason